these are the top 5 guns in Bloodstrike Season 3. Look, I know I'm a bit late to this, but I've been deciding on these guns for like over a week. So I guess it's kind of my fault, but whatever. Starting off with the honorable mentions. These are guns that almost made the list, but are still viable if you want to use them. With the first gun in the honorable mentions being the URB. I recently watched Cold Mobile's video on this gun, and I decided to try it out for myself with a loadout pretty similar to his. And this gun is not bad at all, honestly. It's got good damage and it's good at mid to close range, and I would say it's pretty comparable to the IMP-9. Next up in the honorable mentions is the AK-47. This was the first gun to ever get an Ultra skin, and while I will say the Ultra skin is pretty sick, the gun, compared to other assault rifles, it's viable, like I said, but it's just not really that good compared to guns like the M4 and the VSS. It is better than the Tag 6 in my opinion though, so do what you will with that information, I guess. The third and final gun in the honorable mentions is the Vector. I will say this is the second best SMG in the game, but we're not really in an SMG meta right now, so I just don't really think the Vector is the best gun to use right now. We will get to another SMG in the list later down the line though. Coming in at number 5, we got the Star. Now with its buff just before Season 2 came out, I believe, this gun is very, very viable. I was debating on putting the Vector in number 5 and the Star in the honorable mentions. They were pretty interchangeable, I would say, but like I said, since we're not really in an SMG meta right now, I think the Star is pretty worthy of that top 5 spot. Coming in at number 4, we have two guns, the M700 and the Tower. Both of these snipers are very good, they're just for different playstyles. The M700 is better if you're playing pretty aggressively in like mid to somewhat long range, and the Tower is better if you're trying to just chill back, play long range, get some headshot snipes, crack people from across the map. It's very, very good for that. Now, I know I said we're not in the close range meta, but coming in at number 3 is the MP115. This thing is so much better than the Origin 12, it's actually nuts. I don't know what the competitive viable guns are, but I would say if you are going to use a close range gun, this is very viable for that. When someone is in gold armor, I'm pretty sure you can one-shot that gold armor to the body, if not to the head, which is actually insane, by the way. Like, the Origin 12 does not come close to that. Coming in at number 2, you guys probably expected this, but we got the P90. Ever since this gun released and got its Blood Crystal Legendary skin, this gun has been on top of the close range meta, just ever since it came out. The most comparable gun to the P90, I would say, is the MP115, which is in number 3. So, depending on what gun you're better with, just go with that if you're really, really aggressive. Now, at the number 1 spot, we have two guns, the M4A1 and the newly released VSS. Now the M4A1, you guys already know, this gun has been on top of the entire game ever since this game has came out, and to my knowledge, I don't think this gun has ever been nerfed or buffed in any way. Now, the VSS, this gun has a slower fire rate but a higher damage, I believe, than the M4. That's if you're using the base version of the gun without the fire rate mag that increases the fire rate, which I honestly wouldn't recommend using that. It feels pretty weird in my opinion, and the slower fire rate version is just so much better. But I think both of these guns just depend on your playstyle. For the M4, if you're aggressive and playing in mid to close range, I would go with that. It's very good long range as well if you can hit your shots, but for long range I would personally go with the VSS, just solely because of that high damage output. I'm pretty sure this thing can 3-shot gold armor, 3 or 4-shot gold armor, with all body shots, by the way. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment if you want me to keep doing these top 10 or top 5 videos. Subscribe.